What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel, and today I'm going to be covering something that I mentioned in a previous video. This is going to be different ways to initiate a drift. Now, there are so many different ways to do that. I would say 5 or 6 off the top of my head, but the first one is easiest. It's just the power over. You just turn in and hit the gas, and then from there you control the power or the counter steer and your throttle input. Oh, 360. Oh. So again, power over, just turn in and give it some gas. I'm sure that's the way that most people have tried to learn so far, if you're already trying. The next one I'm going to cover is the EBrake drift. This is going to be, honestly, one of my favorites. Super simple, super easy. There's a lot of times that the EBrake is going to be used not in initiation. Oh, Jesus. It's going to be used a lot of times when you're already sideways, too. If you need more angle or you need to get up next to somebody, you know, EBrake's going to be absolutely crucial for tandem. But again, for this, you're going to turn your steering wheel a tiny bit the direction of the car, of the turn, the direction that you want to go. You'll notice that as soon as you pull that e-brake, the front end of the car is going to face the direction that you had your steering wheel turned. So, driving into here, tiny bit of right, e-brake. And you'll see that immediately you'll start to get that counter steer. Once you're in that spot, though, once you're in the angle that you want to drift, you can either clutch kick out or you can just hit the gas. If you have enough power, I'd say third gear at a low speed in this isn't going to have the power, but second gear in this, in these tighter turns in here, that might be a little bit better for you in that. The next one I want to cover is the weight transfer. That's going to be going a little too slow. You're going to need a little bit more speed on a weight transfer drift. Let's get by this guy real quick. Just try not to mess him up. Okay. Never mind. Oh. I appreciate that, I guess. So, weight transfer drifting. Let's see. Let's do it on this one. So, weight transfer, we're going to start at the right-hand side, go left, and then just, you see barely any throttle. I'm only at half throttle. I didn't press it, I didn't push it down, and the car starts to break free. That weight transfer, wait, and then there you go. But now if you accelerate during that, you're kind of mixing the power over and the weight transfer, which is already what it is if you want to do it effectively. And then that'll actually help you maintain the drift. Started a little late, or started a little too early, but you get the idea. So moving on to the next initiation is going to be, I would say, moving on to the next initiation, I would say would be the clutch kick. The clutch kick is going to be, you can literally just start on the left-hand side, give it a clutch kick, and it's essentially the power over with a little bit more of a oomph. Like you're gonna do it quicker. So you really need to be just ready for that counter steer. If you have a good wheel, let the wheel do what it wants to do. If you have a G920 or a Thrustmaster, belt-driven, gear-driven, you might have to assist. And what I mean by assist is when you clutch kick it, you want to turn into it real quick. If you have a, now what I mean by assist is you're gonna, your wheel may not counter steer as much as mine. I have a direct drive wheel. You know, it's something that you don't need a direct drive wheel to drift. I was drifting on a T300, and I have plenty of people that I know that drift on Logitech G920s and some lower end wheels as well. G27, like older wheels. The biggest difference is that you may need to assist it with countersteer. Like my wheel will countersteer by itself, thankfully, but you can get away with it by helping it countersteer before you think it should. If you're overspinning and you're spinning out, just really try to work on that that countersteer timing. If you're spinning out, you're probably doing it too late, or you're too heavy on the throttle. That's the only answers. It's only two. You're either countersteering too late, or you're too heavy on the throttle. Try to feather and lay off that a little bit. Big thing for, you know, I'm going to throw an extra tip in here too. This is not an initiation thing, but it is something that may really help you in kind of getting better. I have a rule that I have followed since I started, that no matter what, you don't take your foot off the throttle. If you're drifting, if you're left foot braking, doesn't matter. You don't take your foot off the throttle. Even if you're at that absolute 1%. You see that tiny little green bar there? That tiny little sliver? During a transition or initiation, you should never, ever, ever be off of that. The second that you are off of that, the car will grip up and you will either spin or it just will stop drifting. So try to stay on that throttle. Think in your head 1%. If you can think in your head 1%, even if you're 20% or 40% or 10%, as long as you're thinking 1%, then the car is probably not going to lose grip and you will continue on with your drift. Now, back to another initiation, the Scandinavian Flick. The Scandinavian Flick is, I mean, it's my favorite. It's probably everybody's favorite because it's an absolute spectacle. But basically what you're doing in a Scandinavian Flick is you're slowing the car down by drifting to the opposite side of the turn. Now, what do I mean by that? I'm probably saying it wrong, but basically braking in the opposite way to slow yourself down enough for the turn. Now, can you do that with left foot braking? Of course you can. But it's definitely not as fucking cool. That wasn't really a Scandi Flick, if I'm honest. That was a bit of a... You really want to be like full out here. You're going to be using the opposite lock. Like, so you're coming in. If I'm coming in at this angle here, I'm facing towards the grass. That's going to slow you down to let you pendulum the turn. Now, doing this pendulum is going to create a lot of G-force in the opposite direction. When you come out of that transition, if you are not on your brakes, you are probably going to fully spin around. Now, you don't want that. I did a video previously covering left foot braking. Check that out. That might help you as far as trying to learn when to use that and whatnot. But yeah, I think that's going to be it for today, guys. If you guys have any other initiations, I can't think of any. I got the power over, the EBrake, weight transfer, Scandi Flick, and clutch kick. I think that's it. So thank you guys so much for watching, and have a great day.